Namaste. Hello everyone. Welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Today, I want to talk to you about Shiva as the renunciant, the Tyagi, the Vairagi. All great yogis are supposed to be renunciants. They are supposed to renounce worldly things and go away into the forests or the mountains and do deep tapasya or dhyana meditations. So, Shiva, being the greatest yogi of all, must be the greatest renunciant. And what kind of a renunciant is he? What can we learn about him? And what can we apply in our own lives about this renunciation? So let's take a close look at Shiva. What does he renounce? He does not renounce clothes. We see him wearing his typical attire. He does not renounce food. He eats. He does not even renounce the home life. He is a grihasthi, a homemaker. He is married to Parvati and thoroughly enjoys her company. He does not renounce his ganas, his friends, his buddies. He does not renounce being an authority, although he does not wear a crown, does not declare kingdoms, yet in his council of ganas, he takes leadership, he takes decisions, so he does not renounce responsibility. He does not renounce intelligence. What does he renounce? Well, he wears clothes, but he doesn't keep maybe 50 sets of clothes. He eats, but he doesn't hoard into granaries. He is the leader of his tribes, but he is not wanting thrones and big darbars. He renounces the sense of ego. He knows he is the chieftain of his tribe, and he knows that he has to lead them. He knows he is the one in power. He does not renounce the responsibility that goes with power, but he renounces the arrogance, the ego that may come from it. He does not renounce home life. He is a great husband, but he does not do anything to favor his own home life at the expense of somebody else. So, Shiva is a renunciant of a very subtle sort. He renounces this social norm which sometimes wrongly impels us to hoard, to get into power, and then leads us to greed, and all sorts of evil things erupt from that. He renounces falsehood. He is not really bothered about rituals. He is not bothered about norms which lead to nothing. He is more about bhava, the intention. So even when it comes to worship, Shiva is more fond of the bhava of the bhakt, the intention, the pitch of the bhakt, rather than his pronunciation, rather than his way of doing ritual. And Shiva renounces one very important thing. He renounces the sense of duality. The sense of duality from Godhead. Though he appears to be a yogi, a man like us, he is always immersed in Godhood. And he's always in dhyana and meditation. And he has renounced this thought of Godhead or Godhood being something different from creation. And this is what we can learn from him. To renounce not just material things and think that we've done our job. We can live with the material things, but we need to renounce our over attachment to them, which leads to greed, which leads to hoarding, which leads to evil methods. We need to renounce this sense of separatedness from all of nature, from other beings. We need to renounce our sense of being the small I. I am Shal, that's Rakesh, that's Suresh, John, and so on. We need to remember that we all come from one consciousness, from the same God stuff. We all come here to enjoy this world and to explore ourselves along with others, along with Godhead. So Shiva's renunciation is not one of going away into the wilderness and being away from what is the worldly fact. Yes, he goes into the forest and into the mountains for deep meditations, but he always returns back to his tribe, to his wife, to his children, to all the animals, birds, plants, everything in the forest. So his renunciation is the one which we must learn to imbibe. It's not about giving away our cars or our bungalows or our clothes. We must wear our clothes, we can drive our car, we can have our shelter, make our home nice and pretty, but we don't have to get overly attached. We have to renounce the sense of ego, of arrogance, of doership in the sense, I am this and I have made this empire. It's all just a leela, a play, a game of God. We come from the same consciousness. We come to discover, to invent, and to harmonize. And therefore, the renunciation which we need in our lives is not to do away with things, but to do away with overly attachment to those things. So we must go to our office, do our work, wear our clothes nicely, look after our homes, our families, our friends, our tribes, our co-workers, but do it with a sense of renunciation of the small I, of the ego. So this is what we can learn from Shiva, the renunciant. I hope you like this little lesson. Join me here again next Monday for yet another small talk. Om Namah Shivaya.